lovelies, I've lined up my TBR for this week and the wheel is about to choose my first read. Fingers crossed for a good one. And we have The Crash. I'm so excited, let's get into it. Okay, so hopefully, if I have done this correctly, you will have just seen my random wheel generator generating the TBR for this video. Yes, I did in fact pack 4 books, that I might not be reading all of them here in this hotel room. These books are for me to read during the October, November, autumny months, and I'm so excited. There was more, lots more, but I think a few of them are romance, and I think I've exacerbated that trope, that genre for now. So, if you haven't already seen the bookmark hanging out of The Crash, I am 32% of the way through The Crash. I started listening to it on audiobook, so this is the first video we will be reading in this video. I'm very excited. I bloomin' love a good Frieda McFaden book at the moment. But yes, we will be starting with The Crash by Frieda McFaden. Let's get to it. Okay, so I know it's dark and I know I haven't got my microphone attached, so do excuse the audio. I've just read for like 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes max, and I've read 47 pages and it doesn't seem that much, but I read from page 119 to 166. I'm bloody flying through this book. I'm 46% of the way through and I was 30 something percent of the way through. If I hunker down tomorrow, I think I could finish this. I haven't got the gym tomorrow, I've just got work revision and my weekly diary. I'm gonna try and finish this tomorrow, you know? I really am. It's late. It's time for me to go to bed. Oh, it's about 11:30 actually. I have to be at work at 9 tomorrow, which means I have to leave at 8:30, which means I have to get up at 6:30 just to give me some time. So maybe I can read in the morning too. See you then. Okay, let's get into it. It has been 24 hours since I started The Crash. I'm gonna say one thing. In 24 hours, I have literally developed a cold that I feel like is killing me. I've got the coughs, the sniffs, the shakes, the aches, you name it, in 24 hours. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank goodness day is not a gym day. In 24 hours, I have read... Hang on a little minute. Okay, I am up to page 197. On my Kindle, I think it's like page 205. But I am officially over halfway. I read from I was on chapter 21 yesterday. I think that's very good, you know. 196 on page 119, so 80 something pages since yesterday. I feel like if I sat down this evening, I could sit and finish this, potentially. It's reading very quickly. Each chapter is like 2-3 minutes long on my Kindle, so that's a good sign. Let's talk about the book, because I realised I did not tell you what this is about. So this is one of Frieda McFaden's newest books. I say one of because she's literally bombarded us with the most fantastic thrillers. So I haven't got the receipt in this one, which is, if you know me, is unlike me. But this is definitely a recent buy. This book is about a young 23-year-old girl called Tegan who finds herself pregnant. She hits the road on a road trip to her brothers, her cousins, a friend, I can't remember. And during that road trip, she has a crash in a blizzard. Bearing in mind, 3 feet of snow, can barely see, middle of nowhere. A man called Hank rescues her and takes her to his home. She meets his wife Polly, who used to be a nurse, and it turns out this is her worst nightmare. And I'm not gonna lie, we've already had a twist. I was so into where this was going, and then we hit part 2 and I was like, oh, didn't realise that one. I feel like we will hit the third act conflict very soon. Like I said, I read most of it on audiobooks. It feels like it's gone incredibly quickly, but I think that was the best way for me to read this, because I honestly feel like the first bit of the book was a lot of context until we got to the actual action. I'm gonna sit and read this evening and I shall come back to you whether I finished or not and update you on how I'm feeling. I have a good feeling that this is going to be at least 4 stars. I forget how much I love thrillers until I read them. That's the deal. It always happens every time. And in the back of my head I think, I want to read a thriller, but I don't fancy a thriller. And then I read the thriller and I'm thinking, that was the best decision. I'm going to go lay down, read this with every intention of having a nap and dinner early and just chilling out, because today has wiped me. We've been in the workshop today. I have a few scrapes and blisters from filing metal, but it was all good fun. See you later.
evening, everyone. So we are on to our second book, but first let me tell you about The Crash. We finished it. Was it last night? I think it was last night or this morning. I can't quite remember. What I do remember is rating it a blooming good 4 stars. It was fantastic, phenomenal, all of the above. I will say, unlike Frieda McFaden's other thrillers, this one felt very satisfying conclusion rather than like a, oh my god, what did I just read? Now, to be honest with you, that is kind of what I needed. That is actually exactly what I needed from a Frieda McFaden book. I loved the plot from start to finish. There was not a single part of that plot that I didn't enjoy. Especially, you know, like when you watch a horror movie and there's like one thing that can save everybody and you think it's never going to happen, and it does happen, and then all of a sudden you're sat at the film like, yes, they've got a chance. That's exactly what it felt like when we got to the third act conflict-ish of the book. And I was literally saying to Ben, like, oh my god, it's happening, we're getting there, we're going to be okay. And usually in a thriller book when that happens, something else happens and then it all goes to pot. Whereas this time it didn't as such. We still had like a oh my goodness moment, but we had our like happy, like, oh thank god ending. I will tell you, there is a twist. There is more than one, and it had me gripped from start to finish. I loved the 2 main characters. Enough said, the book was fantastic, thoroughly enjoyed, and I highly recommend. If you love Frieda McFaden like I do, go give that book a read if you haven't. It is time to pick the next book, so we got Scythe and Sparrow by Brynne Weaver. I'm so excited. To be fair, I did say to Ben, like, if I could pick out of any of these books for this video to read next, what should I read? And he said Scythe and Sparrow. I feel like you've had that for a while. And obviously the random wheel generator came in clutch because we have Scythe and Sparrow. I'm very excited. This is the third in the Ruinous Love trilogy by Brynne Weaver. This is the predecessor to Tourist Lovers. I want to say that is what it's called. I have no idea. This is about Fionn and Rose. So Fionn Kane, the third of the Kane brothers. He's a doctor. She is a circus performer. Literally, how much more exciting can we get? So I'm going to try, with the other 2 books by Brynne Weaver in this series, I have read fairly quickly. And by fairly quickly, I mean super quickly. I did one of them in a 24-hour readathon. I know that for sure. I shall link that up here. I believe that was in a 24-hour readathon. I might have failed. I'm not sure. But I did read the full book in under 24 hours, which for me, winner. So let's hope I can read this. It's Monday. Let's see if I can finish this by Wednesday. It's not even Monday, it's Sunday. That's the funniest thing. It's Sunday night. Let's see if I can finish this by Wednesday. Or should we just say, let's see if I can finish it by the end of the week. But wish me luck. I'm very excited. It's really nice to be able to hopefully tick off another series. And also, if you have Kindle Unlimited, like I now do, Scythe and Sparrow is on Kindle Unlimited. So maybe we can read together. See you guys soon. Okay, so we are back with a bit of an update on Scythe and Sparrow by Brynne Weaver. I am currently just over 30% of the way through. Started it on Monday. That's a lie. Started it on Sunday late in the evening. It's now Tuesday at around 20 to 9. We're 127 pages through the book. Close to chapter beast mode. That's really handy. It's reading just as I expected. If you haven't seen my video where I do a failed 24-hour read with me, I read Butcher and Blackbird in double quick time and it was fantastic. Beast mode is chapter 11 out of 30, so that's cool. I read it in double quick time and it was so nice to just race through a book. Now, the one thing I will say is that Brynne Weaver lives up to her trigger warnings, that is for sure. And I did have a few worries when I read the first conflict, the first issue, the first gross bit in this book, and I was slightly concerned that I wasn't going to be able to finish the book, purely because I haven't read a book like this in so long, especially one with quite a few trigger warnings. Like, and I know this is like a romantic comedy murder, but I was a little bit concerned. But having read through them and gotten through them, I'm absolutely fine. It's all good. I can continue. My plan this evening is we're on page 127 and I'd like to make it at least to page 200 because that would leave 180 pages left, which I think is manageable. No, let's make it more than 100. That's not a lot of pages. I want to make it to chapter confection. So maybe another third of the way through. This book is about Rose and Fionn. Fionn is the third of the Kane brothers, and Rose is a circus performer. She has an accident and Fionn has to fix her. He's a doctor. I mean, you know what I mean. And this is their story. And so far, so good. I am low-key hoping there's not as much spice in this as there is in the other 2 books in this series, purely because I've gone off the spice in books. I feel like it's overly cheesy, it's very insta-lovey, it doesn't feel like natural, and especially in a book, I mean, if you've read Leather and Lark, you'll know exactly what I mean. I feel like the spice in that is just too much. It is too much to handle, and so I'm kind of hoping that if this has spice in it, that it's nice, it's natural, it's normal, it's not over the top, you know? But we have had mention of a sex swing so far already, so I feel like that's going to be quite interesting. But so far, so good. I would quite easily go as far to say that this is 4 stars already. Hold me to it, that's totally okay. But I definitely believe this is like 4 stars. I'll probably check in with you when I'm 70% of the way through. Like I said, I'm only 30 at the moment. So I'll check in with you when I'm 70% of the way through and we'll see how I'm feeling about it. I am really glad that the Wheel Generator picked this as part of the TBR for the week, because I was worried that it would take me so long to read a book and I'd lose momentum for this video, as I have been recently. But I am getting through books quicker, I am taking information on a lot quicker. So I feel like maybe we're getting our spark back. Maybe we're getting our spark back. Let's see. Let's go on with the book. Okay, so I thought it's probably about time I update you with Scythe and Sparrow, considering this is how close I am to the end. Don't mind the fireworks going on. I am on page 308, chapter Battlegrounds, out of 380. Did I say 308? I am on 308. 308 out of 380. Sick. So far, going great. We've had the 3rd act conflict. I feel sad, but I will say the book has just caught me off guard because this very much links into Leather and Lark. And so if you've read Leather and Lark, you'll know that at the very end there's a huge cliffhanger in relation to these characters. And I'd kind of completely forgotten about it until just now, until we've just hit that conflict that happens at the end of Leather and Lark that Fionn and Rose are involved in, and I'm thinking, oh god, no, where is this going? But so far, so good. We have Rose, who is a circus performer, and we have Fionn, who is a doctor. They meet due to Rose's accident and have a liking towards each other, kind of fall in love. Obviously, if you know the idea of the Ruinous Love trilogy, you know that there's a lot of murder. And in this one, it is Rose who is the murderous type. And obviously that brings a lot of conflict between her and Fionn, as Fionn is a doctor. He literally has a duty to save lives, whereas Rose is in the business of taking them, or so she would like to think. Rose's first attempt in this book of doing what she does goes wrong and she ends up in an accident, and this is where Dr. Fionn Kane comes in. I'm very excited to see where this goes towards the end, because so far we've had literally the most beautiful love story, and I could very well be exaggerating it, but personally I think it's very lovely that Mr. Fionn Kane, who is in the business of saving lives, will do whatever he can because he has these feelings for Rose Evans. The character's lovely. There is some great growth from both of these two, which is really interesting considering it's about murder. But in terms of backstories, emotional, mental stability and health, lovely growth. We've had some revelations, we've had making of friends, which then relates back to Leather and Lark and Butcher and Blackbird. I have around 80 pages left. I'm very excited, I'm very scared, but I will catch up with you when I'm finished. I think this is easily a 4 stars, if not 4.5 stars. This book has been absolutely fantastic, and the only qualm I have is that it's not floppy like Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark were. That is it so far. Apart from there is a lot of going back and forth. 1 minute this, 1 minute that, 1 minute this, 1 minute that, and you're thinking like, oh, for goodness sake. But now where we're at, it kind of makes a lot of sense. Also, I just want to show you how cosy my living room looks. Okay, you probably can't see it, but I've got this whole, like, cute setup. There we go. Ignore the puppy dog. But we've got candles, little gourds. I've got my little pumpkins here, my other little pumpkin here, and my other little pumpkin here. My third little pumpkin, of course she's here. I have just given them their dinner. Yeah, that's the deal. That's what we're doing. Also feeling very comfy and cozy because this book is so autumn coded on the outside. Loving it. We'll catch up with you once I finish this, tell you how I feel, and then it's time for our third and final book of the random wheel generator spin, which I'm kind of hoping to pick one in particular. See you in a bit. Hello everyone. It is Sunday, and last night I officially finished Scythe and Sparrow by Brynne, and according to my Goodreads, I gave it 5 stars. I'm not even going to argue with my late night rating of 5 stars. It was absolutely fantastic. If you haven't, go ahead and look on my Instagram for my review of the book, but all in all, fantastic. The way the characters grew throughout the book, the way the romance grew throughout the book, and the way the murder grew throughout the book was phenomenal. The one massive thing I will say is that Brynne absolutely smashed rounding off all 3 stories at the end of this book. If you haven't read it yet, if that's anything to motivate you to read it, read it. It was absolutely phenomenal. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed how it linked back to the other 2 books. We got a very refreshing set of characters in this book, I would say, in terms of a circus performer and a doctor. The other 2 books, the main male characters were very murderous already, whereas Dr. Fionn Kane is a doctor. Need I say more? That was Scythe and Sparrow. That is the second book in this week's video. I am very excited. Let's go grab the next book, which I believe is The Maid's Secret by Nita Prose. Okay, I'm back. We have The Maid's Secret by Nita Prose. I have not started this yet, but this is the next and last book, I believe, of this video. This is technically the 3rd in the Molly the Maid series, but it's the 4th book to be released, as there is a novella between book 2 and 3. Now this is Molly the Maid is used to being invisible. Now someone is watching her every move. As a hotel maid, Molly Gray wipes away fingerprints as a matter of routine. But when a priceless Fabergé egg is stolen from the Regency Grand Hotel, she receives an ominous note threatening her life. It's clear there's more to this mystery than meets the eye. Can Molly crack the case of the missing Fabergé, or are some secrets best left buried? If you don't know already, I adore Nita Prose's The Molly the Maid series. It is the coziest, cutest suspense thriller. There's a lot going on. Molly is a maid for a hotel called the Regency Grand, and I believe she is neurodivergent in some way. I'm fairly certain it has been mentioned, but I just can't quite remember. And it makes it very interesting because she does not present as people expect her to, and so a lot of the time she is mistaken for the suspect, even though she's literally just the sweetest person on the planet. And then she ends up helping solve all of these things that go on down at the Regency Grand Hotel, and it's really fun, it's really cute, it's really cozy. So that is the next book. I think this is around 390. This is bang on 399 pages. Right, well, let's get to it. Let's see if we can read this in a couple of days. I'm really on a roll with these books at the moment, so let's see if I can keep it going. And then we can get onto our list of books I want to read before 2026, which should be coming out the week after this video. Who knows what I've scheduled? I'll see you when I start reading this, okay? Hello everyone, do excuse the under eye patches. It is my last night in the hotel before I go home tomorrow, and I thought I'd treat myself. So, little update for you on The Maid's Secret by Nita Prose. I am nearly halfway there, so maybe I should have done an update before, but I was getting into it, okay? Don't sue me. One thing I do have to say about this book is it was different than what I expected. The kind of plot and the way that the other books are written, this is not quite the same. The other books are very much, we meet Molly, something goes on, then something bad happens, and then she spends the rest of the book solving it, plot twist after plot twist, and then a conclusion. Whereas this one, something big happens at the start, which is literally what the book's about, then all of a sudden we have Gran's point of view. And I was like, what is this? Turns out we're reading part of Gran's diary. So like every other chapter is Molly and what's happening in present day. And then every other chapter is as if we're reading Gran's diary. And I was a bit confused because at first I thought, oh god, and it took me a good day and a half, 2 days to get into it because of that. Because I wasn't expecting it to read like that. But now we're into it, it's actually giving so much context to things. I feel like it's kind of leading us on to like a much bigger reveal, bigger than the reveal we've already had at the very start of the book. But we are now, after, I think I'm like a chapter or two ahead of this bigger thing that happens. There's a big thing that happens at the start that is basically about what the book is about. And then the bigger thing happens, which is the mystery, and that is like 50% of the way through, which I think is great, because now that that big thing happens, we've only got half a book left to solve it, which I thought I'd be irritated about, but I'm actually not. I feel like I'm just absolutely butchering my explanation of what's been going on, because I don't want to give anything away. I really struggle with speaking on camera about the books, because I never know how much I can say and how much I shouldn't say. But with that said, we are 179 pages of 399. So we're nearly halfway. I'm going to absolutely thrash through it by Friday, I'm hoping. Because now that we're starting to pick up pace, we're starting to understand what's going on, we're starting to get into the mystery and the mystery solving, that a couple of the things that have happened in the first half of the book are becoming a bit more relevant. So let's see. I'm going to sit and read and we'll see. So, I've just got to chapter 37, page 385 of 399, and we've just had Molly's last letter from her gran. Throughout all of the messages and the notes and the diary entries that she's learnt since discovering her gran's diary throughout the book. Oh, it's really got me. Let me just read you Gran's last letter. My dear Molly, once upon a time there was an old maid who lay dying in her bed. She'd once had everything and lost everything, only to find that anything of value came back to her in the end. I have lived a perfect life, a charmed life, a fairy tale in reverse. I was born wealthy and I die poor, but it matters not a jot. Here is the moral of my story. There is only one, and it is this. Love cannot be stolen, not by anyone. Those who do not know love place no value upon it. Often they don't even know it's there, but people like us who do know it, who see and feel it and cherish it, possess a treasure that can never be taken away. Love endures, it lasts, it will endure beyond me, I promise. Love is what I leave behind, so that every day of your life you will know that I'm with you, and from you I take the same. Your love, as comfort into the night. My heart is yours forever, as yours is mine, your gran. It's really sad. Because up until this point of the story, we've been learning about Gran's life. She had such a horrible upbringing. And then to put so much love into the world with Molly and Mr. Preston, John, is just... And that his dad's name was Uncle Willie. And that everything is connected in some twisted way. And I just feel like, although obviously none of this is real, I don't know. It just got me. Just really, really got me. I have 15-ish pages left. We've had the third act conflict. We've had the resolution to the third act conflict. We are now hitting the 1 month later epilogue, I assume. I'm going to read this, hopefully finish crying, and then let you know how I feel about the book. Okay, we finished The Maid's Secret, as you will have just seen. I wanted to give you a little bit more of an in-depth review on this, purely because this was my first 5-star book of the video, and obviously my last, because we finished the 3 books that we wanted to read. But this was Molly the Maid, 3rd book in the series by Nita Prose. This was The Maid's Secret, and this was 5 stars. As you will have seen, I cried while finishing it. We had such a fantastic story about not only Molly herself and some great character growth between her and her fiancé, Juan, but we also learn a lot about Gran, and that was so wholesome, lovely, incredible to read, and that really made the book what it was. I mean, this was a fantastic round-off for the 3 books in the series, but not only that, it's a cosy mystery. So like something goes on, we put the puzzle pieces together and we figure out by the end. I would not have guessed. I absolutely would not have guessed what the outcome of this would be, but I'm so glad that I didn't, because it just made me want to keep reading. I'm not going to overdo it on this because you should go read it. essentially you should go read it. But this does mean that we have concluded our 3 books of the video. We had The Crash, which I believe I rated 4 stars. We had Scythe and Sparrow by Brynne, which I believe I rated 4.5 stars. And we had The Maid's Secret by Nita Prose, which I rated 5 stars. So we just kept going up. We got better and better as the video went on. And that's 3 more books off my physical TBR. If you've been keeping up with my TBR takedown and my physical TBR on Goodreads, which is ever growing, but we are doing our best, we now have 3 books ticked off. And it was these 3 books that got me over my 55 book goal on Goodreads. We are now at 58. I honestly am so excited to continue because I feel like these are good sized books and they were manageable. Do you know what I mean? Like I was able to get through these without feeling like I was reading too slow, and it was fantastic. So what this has done has put me on quite a drive to continue reading. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in the reviews for any of these, go find my Goodreads. I know I posted the one for Scythe and Sparrow on my Instagram, so that will be linked down below. If you want to continue watching me finish my TBR or attempt to finish my TBR, please subscribe, please give a like, and maybe comment down below something that you think I should read out of my physical TBR, which you will find on my Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I shall see you in my next video, which will be all the books I want to read before 2026. See ya!